Hello, hello. We're back. The Seraphine YouTube channel, Seraphine Podcast, is so happy to have part two.
Yes.
Part 222 of our interview with Kara Gutierrez.
Yes.
Hello,
Tits
hello.
up.
Tits up and bottoms up with the tits
Yes.
up. Let's cheers into part two. Clinking it. Clinking it, clinking it. All right. So we kind of left on part one with the how and why, like, what was the moment that you were like, I'm going to tattoo realistic nipples on someone? Was there a friend? Was there an instance? What was it?
Permanent makeup Facebook groups were able to post before and after areola tattoos. Mm-hmm. And I thought they were really cool. I'm like, dope. That's so neat. But being my tattoo art was not that genre, which is realism. And I just was a fan.
Yeah.
Then me having the education and the experience in doing body art, I had a client come. She had some orange nipples and I tattooed her. So I was like, that's really cool. And then she got me into the hospital to do it. I'm like, okay, I'm so qualified. I'm qualified. And you have to tell yourself, okay, we got this imposter syndrome. Shut up. So I did it and I just went for it because it was cool.
Yeah.
And then that, it's cool factor went out the window pretty immediately.
Yeah.
When women came into the hospital, at first it was hospital.
Yeah.
They would, again, they take off their shirt and I'm like, hey, get to know me first. And then I was finding I had to create the vibe. I had to create the energy and make them know, hey, this is the fun stuff. You're done with cancer. Yeah. And I'm like, what I love to do the best is creating vibes, create like fun and like self-love. So that was my purpose. And every time it was like a guarantee win. And then I became a little bored because the art that I was seeing, it was overseas, really. I didn't see any, was like realism. And I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. I have a very good friend. He was on Ink Master twice, Redemption once, and he does realism, hyper-realism.
Yeah.
So I phoned Randy Vollink, my buddy. I'm like, bro, how you do realism?
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, I can show you when I'm like next week at the tattoo. Like, events all came. He showed me how he did it. And I'm like, really? Not like, oh, that's it. Because trust me. But I was like, oh, that's it. That's it? Okay. And I literally, the next person I saw, I started practicing. And then I'm like, dude, I am not getting what I'm seeing these other artists doing with realism. He goes, well, what is your reference? My reference was paintings of other breasts, areolas, or drawings of other areolas. And he goes, Kara, if I'm doing, because he does portraits a lot. Yeah. He's like, if I'm doing a portrait of like your child, I'm going to have a photo of your child. Where's your photo of nipples? I'm like, oh, like real nipples? I'm going to tell you, don't Google nipples on the internet. It's a slippery slope. I lost a good hour and 15 minutes on that slope. Don't judge me.
Oh my gosh.
But I did. And then I'm like, there's no references. So I'm like, phone a friend again. I talked to the plastic surgeon. It's got some nipple pics.
Oh my gosh. Well, and the other thing that's so strange to me too is I wonder why doctors with cancer patients, I think the first thing I would probably do, knock on wood, because I hope it never happens to me, is I would probably take as many pictures of my breasts as I could.
They do.
And then I would make sure that I have a photograph of my nipple to give to you.
Some do, but most of them don't.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they think the doctor gives them to me. Listen, I'm a contractor. Yeah. I don't get into the EMR. HIPAA is a thing. Yeah. So I can't.
Well, ladies, here's the thing. Start taking pictures of your boobs just for you. Just so you can
I'm
have
here for it.
I love it.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Oh my
you should
gosh.
know what it looks like. But I just got obsessed with not being good enough because I was referencing actual nipples. So then I just decided I wanted them to look as realistic as possible, and how they healed were not good enough for me. And that was my obsession. And then their happiness wasn't good enough because it didn't look so real. So now it looks like, oh wow, these look great. They look kind of normal. And I was like, kind of normal. I want you to be able to flick it with your, like you think you can. That's why it's so real.
Yeah.
So I really dove into that. That's why I'm teaching it now, because nobody, there's a few of them out there, you know, and what's really cool about the areola tattoo community trainers, the trainers, okay, there is no drama or animosity. Like, you've got brow, lips, eyeliner people, and they're like, oh, I like so-and-so. But if someone asks on the boards, like, hey, who do I go to for training in any permanent makeup? It's usually like a fight to who they should go to. But with areolas, we're like, well, you could use ABCD, and then and I'd love to teach you too, and they're great, and we're all great. We've learned from each other.
So I've got a question. So in terms of, like, when you get your tattoo, so I know with my eyebrows, there's certain care for it to make sure that, you know, it lasts.
Aftercare?
In terms of aftercare, and then the fading factor, and then when you're out in the sun.
Yes.
Now, my bare breasts aren't usually out in the sun. I usually have a
That
bikini
sucks,
top or
Sarah.
something. They should be flying out.
Seraphine.
So my question to you is that the fade out factor.
Good question.
Is talk to me about what's usually the timeline? Is there certain skin? Like, is it like darker skin, lighter skin, or clothes? Like your breasts rubbing up against something? Is it lotions?
Well, I'm going to really try to condense this and not go on rabbit holes. So once you cut open the skin, it is forever different and changed. So when you tattoo, put ink into skin, you've got to take care. And as an artist, you've got to let that skin communicate to you and know what to look for. Hence why you have to be taught. And as a traditional tattooer, and all of the artwork that you see on body art, they'll go over scarred skin. But this is different. Breasts that have been taken off, scraped out, and then closed up, and then, of course, insert all the healing times. Like, I'm not even going to say it. Everything has a healing time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then you're going to get expanders, which hurts like a moho, and expanding their skin. And then if they'll take it, God forbid some other crap happens and grafting, insert that. And it's just pain. And then
and the
as
scar-
a cancer survivor, because I've heard so many cancer stories, because I do video my cancer patients that are at my shop. And they say, honestly, you're just over it by the time it's done, and it hurts, and you are doing your best to survive because you've got your people around you that you're trying to say, I'm fine and it's okay, and you're counseling them more than yourself. So you don't think about yourself. Guess when they think about themselves, Seraphine? Thanks for asking. When I tattoo them. Because they don't look at themselves. They don't think about that, because that is a personal thing. They have to choose together. We'll choose the size, we'll choose location, and the location is based off of helping out the plastic surgeons and their bodies with asymmetry. So their scars are here. God forbid, the scars are crazy. And you'll see it. I have an Instagram. It's Hyper-Realistic _ areola tattooing. I probably could have made it longer if I'd worked on it. But that's what I trademarked it, so whatever, you're there. So you'll see that the scars will make the eye see even more off, right? The eyes are, but that nipple is definitely like placed on there. Hell, like you're doing eye, like a little wing with an eyeliner. You know,
totally.
one eye might be a little droopy. You're going to put that wing up there, but when you look straight, okay, same thing. So scarred skin, tattoos, differently. All right, now healing. You asked that question.
Yeah.
So once it heals and you're a smart tattooer and you've listened to the skin, you may, ideally, I love to put 5 colors in that little bitty space. And it's not always round. You might get a little oval. Come on, think about your nipples, people. and
the shape of your boobs.
And the shape, all the things. And so the healing process is, I do 2 sessions. And the first session is just to stick, I'd really try and get that nipple in there. And the areola is just really like softly around it, and see what the skin can hold. If the skin has really good fat in there and it's good elasticity, how tight and thin is their skin? Oh, have you had radiation? God forbid. Oh, you're still in medicine and all the things.
Yeah.
I've got to have a lot of medical knowledge. of breast cancer. Having tattoo knowledge with scars, and I've tattooed over scars, ain't shit. It is literally knowing that skin of breast. Then let's talk about color theory. I have to know what your undertone is, and then I have to figure out, because a lot of skin comes from either they'll take skin from their stomach, a little free tummy tuck, their back, there's lots of different locations. So I'm tattooing like a specific skin as well. Any tattooer tell you, if I'm getting breast skin placed here and it's from my stomach, oh, you done had a couple kids? Okay, that's a whole nother skin type to tattoo. So the skin you're in, the health of the skin, DNA, lifestyle, it's multifactorial. That's why I had to be careful how I answered this. So healed results are based off of how is that artist reading the skin, and multifactorial, add that up. And the aftercare is really simple.
That's good to hear.
Aftercare is 2 different aftercares. One is a sort of it's like a clear film membrane that goes over it. It's just like it's like a second skin is what I call it. But there's Tegaderm, Sanoderm, Inkies. There's just lots of brands. It's like saying chapstick. Yeah. Okay, there's so many different types of lip hydration. Okay, so you put that on there, leave that on for a few hours, take, like 24 hours, is what I do. Take it off, wash it, let it dry, and stick a brand new one on, and I have them keep it on for 5 days. Some people are allergic to that. Most of them will know if they're allergic to it, and because they can't feel it, they're numb, and so if that doesn't work, the other aftercare is just typical tattoo care. Keep it clean and clean shirts. It is a tattoo, and that's exactly what the care is.
It's wild to me because there is a sense of understanding a little bit of dermatology, because you understand like hyperpigmentation, melanin, all of that in the skin. So when it comes to a tattoo artist that is wanting to learn about this, I think it's so important that if they're deciding on someone to teach them the trade, that they have someone with a background knowledge.
And it's more expensive to learn from a paramedical tattooer or a permanent makeup tattooers. A lot of seminars for body art, it's like $300, $400. Come watch me tattoo, ask questions. And then the tattoo artist that I've ran into that are like, nah, I'm good, because they're not passionate about it. Once you do this, you're going to eat your words.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
It's so cool. That's where I first started. I'm like, dude, this is cool. And it's not so like, I don't never go to the sad thing. If someone cries with me, really, it's an accident. Because we're fun, we're talking about other things, and then it's a tattoo, and you have to understand you have to be approached like it's a tattoo. So tattooers, they won't want to invest that because it's not cheap to learn, and you're learning from someone who did all the mistakes, and still learning. My learning cup is never full, and learning hyper-realistic tattooing as a traditional tattoo artist. A lot of people don't do that. They stick to, other genres, and hyper-realism, it's not as popular right now.
Well, and to be honest with you, I think what I would love to see more of is, I feel like as you mature as an artist, whatever you do, right?
I've matured a lot.
I think it's a sense of having your art matter.
Oh yeah,
and I think
that's all I care about.
And I love tattoos.
You summed it all up. Podcast over.
I mean, I think I love tattoo artists, but the tattoo artist who has done a million. Like I just went to New Orleans and I got a fleur-de-lis on my hand.
Oh, I could do that with my eyes closed. I'm from Louisiana.
And let me tell you, you could. And again, God love the tattoo artist. He's done a million of them. And then, I was like, well, what could you do to make it unique? And he does.
What did you do? The breathe one or the namaste one on there? What'd you do?
He did a little snowflake underneath because his last name is Frost.
Oh.
And it was interesting because I asked for him to make it uniquely his. And then all of a sudden the care of the tattoo his art became, it was like, well, I'm not doing another floor. You know, it's no longer
Look at
just a
your
fleur de
angle,
lis.
Sarah. This is just who you are.
So
Yeah.
he put
That's
care
cool.
into it.
Yeah.
But I think about tattoo artists who are feeling uninspired, or if there's somebody who are making bank and they're always getting, you know, well, you pay me this or that. To me, what I would love to see is someone who is super talented. Like there's Bang Bang, right?
Yeah,
Bang
because
Bang
this
and-
is challenging.
This is challenging.
I
And-
challenge any tattoo artist who thinks they're freaking good,
Totally.
especially in hyper-realism.
And
Come
PS,
on.
And PS, if you want to think about philanthropic, you
Yeah.
don't really put tattoo artists and philanthropic together. I think it would be really cool if a tattoo artist who is looking to go above and beyond just being the edgy tattoo
Yeah.
artist, to think about.
I like that. I like that angle because I'm gonna tell you something. And as a tattooer, a traditional tattooer, there's a little bit of grit,
Yeah.
a little bit of attitude and swag that tattooers have to make it.
Yeah.
To make it. And I think that what you just said would piss me off, and I kind of like the challenge. So if you're a tattooer and you're doing hyper-realism and you are good, you've worked on scars before, but you have not worked on scars a lot. Okay, you think you know color theory and you think you know the art part, do it on an areola. I bet you're going to be challenged. And if you think like it's not that challenging, okay. And that's right there. There's your challenge. There's your you can't do it, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
you need to do it. I
Well, and
bet you it ain't as easy as you think.
And you know what? Find the heart and soul of why you tattooed to begin with, because tattoos tell a story. So I'd like to see any tattoo artists out there who might want to, well, you know, that the gauntlet, you know, go for it. And when it's thrown down, are you gonna arrive? Are you gonna show up?
To make it look realistic,
Yeah.
not just like another tattoo. Get a nipple that you can, get a good looking nipple.
Yep.
Be careful, slippery slope, but get a good one.
Yep.
And then try your best to actually, do it on a scarred skin.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. And please hit the like, subscribe button and check out Kara Spot on Beauty on Instagram. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.